Thank you for joining us on Minds of Commercial Real Estate. Today we have Blake Albino, clothier at Tom James. Blake, thank you for joining me on the show.
Happy to be here. Long time coming.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
You got what I want, got what I want. You give me just one look and you know I'm good to go. You know I'm good to go.
Blake makes my clothing and he does an amazing job. So I wanted to go into detail of how you started, how we got introduced, and your expertise.
Awesome. Happy to do it. I represent a company called Tom James. I've been doing this for about 10 years. And we're a come-to-you service. And so I started off in our New York City office. And when I moved out here to Los Angeles, I used LinkedIn as a big prospecting tool. And the unique thing about prospecting via LinkedIn is it's easy to kind of see who's connected to who. And certainly, the past decade, but certainly since COVID, there's been a massive emphasis on social media and people using social media to promote their business. But not all the time are our target clients are on Instagram or Facebook. They're using these professional networks like LinkedIn. And it's cool because you could obviously see someone's photo and I'm like, this guy looks sharp. He's worth a call. And I'm pretty sure it was just a cold call. But, here we are about 4 years later.
Right. I'm glad I got introduced to you because I really enjoy the clothing and, I look always to buy more items.
Awesome.
Why should somebody come to you to buy clothing bespoke versus going to a department store or luxury, these luxury departments, go a little bit in detail, tell me the exact services you provide, the type of material and everything, please.
Well, I'll start by telling you that I don't think anybody should come to me because I go to you. And that's the biggest distinction, right? So what I do more than sell a product is I provide a service. So you can go get suits and shirts and clothes anywhere. But we help, one, provide a wardrobe consultative service, so we're helping build wardrobes for people that are methodical, that fits, and that works for your lifestyle. The second thing, which I also think is the most important thing, is the fact that we do come to you to save you time. And I think what all my clients have in common, and they're all in different industries, and they represent all different age groups and tenures and seniorities, they're just busy. And they're just people that on the weekends, they would rather hang with their families than go mess around in a department store. They're people that at the end of the day, their brains are fried. They don't want to have to think about, man, I gotta go buy a new suit. Where do I get this? How do I do it? And then the retail experience is it's different. You're limited to what's in your size. And I don't think anyone is a perfect fit off the rack. And I love when people tell me that, they're like, I'm a perfect fit off the rack. I'm like, you think you're a perfect fit, but we obviously are making things custom, individualized for you. So not only does that get you the right fit, but all the customization features. Every time like you and I meet, I probably show you 100 different fabrics. It's like, we're walking into your store and, we spend about 30 minutes talking about life and about 10 minutes talking about clothes. I keep track of everything that you have. So it's a very smooth, streamlined experience. And more than anything, I just want to make things easy and convenient and make the best use of every dollar that someone invests in their clothing with me.
Great. Well, obviously, I'm always happy. This is actually one of many suits and blazers and pants, shirts I've bought. It's always has been a great experience. I have saved a lot of time. Always shopping with you, and Tom James also makes bespoke sweaters, pants, jeans, shirts. Mm-hmm. And my second question is, why should somebody wear a suit?
Yeah. I mean, all those casual products are phenomenal, and there's certainly a time and place for all of that. And we have largely gotten away from suits 5 days a week, and I'm not necessarily disagreeing with that. But suits will always signify the most important of occasions. People wear suits for a wedding. The president wears a suit. People on ESPN wear suits. And more than just signifying importance, it shows that you care. So I don't wear a suit because I want someone to look at me and say, man, that guy's really important, though that's sometimes a side effect. But I wear a suit out of reverence for the occasion that I am entering, right? So you may not care necessarily how you look, but if you're showing up to your friend's wedding and you're dressed like a slob, that signifies that you don't care. And I just never want anyone that I am with to feel that way. So that's why I think that dressing for the occasion is so important. And even though you and I have a great relationship and I could probably come in here wearing jeans and a t-shirt, I wear a suit and tie out of respect for you. And I want you to know that I take our time seriously, our appointments seriously, and that I really take my job seriously. And so I think people have kind of lost that, especially since we got away from, dressing business formal. It's just swung too far to the other side. So most of the time now, the suits that people have are very old and dated, and they think just because I'm not wearing them all the time, they don't need it. But I actually think people need it more. And the suits that they do have, it's like, this is the time where you get to come out of your cave, take off the hoodie and jeans, and put something on that really like matches the occasion. And so I think that's very important on those occasions. But I also think that when you're showing up and you're conducting business, you feel better. I think that especially if you're client facing, put on a suit. Put on a tie, show that you care, because that will also differentiate you so much from everybody now that's just showing up in Lululemons and a hoodie. And they think, oh, my clients don't care. Well, they care. And I think that they'll really notice the difference if you start dressing just a couple notches above the rest.
In terms of pricing, when people go and buy off the rack, the higher name brands and so forth, after they do get tailored, and, how do your prices compare roughly?
The unique part about Tom James as a company is that we're a vertical manufacturer. So that means that we own our own tailoring shops, our own woolen mills, and that allows us to make about 5 different collections of clothing that are consistent with quality and price. So our suits will start at $1,000 and they go up to $10,000 plus, and then everything in between. So really we can cater to a widespread clientele. And so there's people that maybe they're shopping at Men's Warehouse and they're doing their first custom suit. Well, I can help accommodate that. And then there's people that are shopping the high-end fashion houses. But even then, if you go and you buy an off-the-rack suit for $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, you're still getting a wonderful quality, but you're sometimes giving up like the fit. And then certainly where, no one can compete is the element of convenience and like the type of one-on-one personalized service that they get. So I think the Tom James model of making things custom, that certainly is a huge value add. And then 2, Tom James as a company, we don't operate brick and mortar. So I have an office, but you've never been to my office. Right. When you go to Rodeo Drive, when you buy a suit, you're also paying for that Rodeo Drive rent. You're paying for the exorbitant costs in advertising. With Tom James, because we don't do marketing, everything is like word of mouth and referral based. We're able to put all that money back into the quality of clothes. So I would say the value just can't be beat for somebody that wants a high quality garment and to know like they're getting what they pay for instead of paying for a brand. Now, some people care about that. Some people are very much invested in labels and brands. And, I certainly respect that too. But most of our clients are people that are just, elite business owners, executives, C-suite people. They're like, I don't care what the label on the inside, says. As long as it's made for me, it's beautiful, it wears well, and you save me time. So I would say those are the biggest, distinguishing factors about working with me opposed to just going to a retail store.
How old is Tom James and where are the products made?
It's a great question. Tom James just celebrated 60 years in business. So we are the oldest and largest custom clothing company in the world. We're a $600 million company and 95% of it is made here in the United States. So our opening price point is made at a facility that we own in Chile, but that's still a Tom James facility that makes our clothing. And then everything else is either made in Westminster, Maryland, Perth Amboy, New Jersey, or it's made in Chicago, Illinois. So being made in America is something that I'm extremely proud of. Nothing is being outsourced. It's all made here by, American textile and shop workers. So we employ about 4,000 American shop workers, and that's something that's really important to me and for our clients.
That's great. So the tariffs didn't really affect you.
No, they didn't. And so that's another thing is a lot of retail stores, it's like they're at the mercy of their manufacturers overseas. Now, I know that within Tom James, like our leadership is constantly lobbying for tax incentives for the import of woolen products. So that's something that will affect us. Sure. But that's not something that we pass on to our client. And because we are an extremely lean company, we're able to keep, the customer experience high, and, we will find ways to just be more lean and nimble as a company.
Great. Who is your competition?
That's another great question. So our competition would be other big custom providers, right? And so you and I have talked a lot about David August, somebody that I look up to personally. He does a world-class job, but he is at the top of his game, right? I think he is the #1 men's clothier in America. His shop is about a mile from ours in Orange County. And you just can't compete with his clientele. I mean, every A-lister in America goes to David August. So I got to give him a ton of props. There's some other great shops locally here in Los Angeles and Orange County that are also doing custom. There's one custom company, Jay Hilburn, that I think does something similar, but I would say objectively, they're the only company that is doing something relatively similar to Tom James. With the one-on-one, we come to you. They just can't compete on the size of like our scope and breadth of products. And so that would be the competition on like the custom side. Then there's competition on the retail side, because of course, guys have their option. Do I go custom? Do I go off the rack? And if I'm going custom, what custom provider am I going to use? Or, would I rather get, something that is, just, at a store? And, that can be everything from a Nordstrom's, which carries $1,000 suit, all the way up to a Keton $6,000 or $7,000 suit, and pretty much everything in between. So I would say those are our big competitors, but I do think that we are in a very unique lane with we build wardrobes. And what that really means is like when you work with a clothier from Tom James, like you get somebody who knows you. So a lot of people will use the term personal shopper, and that exists at a retail store. But to have somebody come to like your home or office, and I keep track of everything that you've ordered over the years. And so we're making sure that everything that you add makes sense. Because most guys, if I just left you to your own, you'd probably have 20 Navy suits, right?
Correct.
And that's how most guys are. But it's nice to have somebody that kind of guides you and says, this is how to wear this sport coat with this pant and this shirt. The last thing I'll say on that point is COVID changed things a lot. And what was interesting during the 2020, 2021 time period is a lot of our clients, again, who are business owners, they were saying, look, I can't necessarily wear a suit to work right now. And I'm a guy that's worn a Navy suit and a white shirt for the past 30 years. And I know I can't do that, but I can't wear sweatpants either. So what's like that in between? And that kind of takes a little bit more thought. And that's something that you do so well. And that's why I love working with you, is because you have this element of creativity, but you could also see how to wear a beautiful cream blazer and like a nice pair of like Royal Navy slacks and how to mix and match. And that's something that I try to offer my clients, is like that assistance of showing them how to wear it. So you don't just wind up with a bunch of stuff in your closet that you don't wear.
Very similar.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
But now with the dynamics of a lot more people going back to the office, and they have to wear the suits and the ties should be in your favor. And I think people should be calling you more in that respect.
It's interesting because in times of economic constriction for Tom James over our 60 years, we have seen our sales increase in times of economic scarcity more than in times of abundance. And I've used this analogy sometimes where if I was your financial advisor and I was telling you, hey man, like just made you $1 million, you wouldn't care how I showed up, right? I could wear board shorts and a t-shirt if I was telling you I was making money. Sure. But if I'm sitting there client facing and I'm telling you like, hey, things aren't looking so hot, you'd probably expect me to put a suit on. And I think we're seeing the same thing in the workforce where people are being called back to work. A lot of them don't want to come back to work. And so some people are getting laid off, and the people that are showing up, they do have to step it up a little bit. Of all the different industries that we work with, throughout any given year or so, it's like some are up and some are down, and you just kind of got to flow where like the money is. So again, during COVID, my clients that were in mortgages, they single-handedly kept me in business, right? I mean, they were just making cash over fist. And then in 2022, 2023, it was like, don't call me. So you just got to be able to be flexible and see where's the demand, what are people wearing, who has the need, and just following it appropriately.
Let's go through a scenario of once a new client reaches out to you, you go and, meet with them at their personal residence office. They kind of show you their wardrobe or pictures of what they have, what they're trying to achieve. How does that, let's go ahead a little bit in detail. How does that work for you? What would you recommend? What do you recommend? What is the turnaround time once they do place an order?
Yeah. Well, it's been about 4 years since you and I had that conversation. So this will be like a good refresh. But generally when I sit down with somebody, the first thing I'll tell them is like, look, today I just want to get to know you.
Sure.
I want to ask you what you do, where you go, who you see, and how that relates to clothing, right? I serve about 1,200 clients. They're all different. And I just want to know you, what you like, what you don't like, and what we can improve upon. So that conversation will naturally lend them to start talking about their work, events that they have outside the office, what they're involved with socially, boards, charity, all of that. And because each role calls for a different occasion. And my job is to make sure that somebody is covered on all fronts. So we'll kind of go through like the suit world, and every guy should have at least 2 suits, right? And so some people, like a lot of my clients are attorneys, they have trials for 2 weeks. And I'm like, well, do you have suits to last you 10 days? So each one will be a little bit, different in that regard. But it's always a matter of like, one, let's take inventory of what you have, what fits, what's in good condition, and more importantly, what doesn't fit and what needs to go. So most men, we're hoarders. Yeah, we'll have a Navy solid suit and we've had it for 10 or 15 years. And we're like, Navy solid suit, check. But I joke and I say sometimes suits are like wallpaper. They stay in good shape. You just get tired of looking at it. So I always just want to say, look, if you haven't worn this in a year, first off, let's get it out of here. If it's got dust on it, let's take it out. And my job is actually to make sure that you can do a lot more with far less pieces. I don't want to just fill your closet full of junk that you're not going to use. I want each piece to be very intentional, very thought out, and then I will make recommendations accordingly. So what can you maximize use out of? From there, once we've kind of picked out the garments, we'll go through all the styling features. And that's, another like 10-minute conversation, picking out lapels, buttons, linings. And some clients, like, they don't care about that at all. They're like, throw you the ball, you take care of it. And some people really care about all those details, and I could accommodate either way. And then once we have the fabric, the garment, I've taken all of your measurements and we've gone through the stylistic features, then we'll get going on the production. And it takes about 2 months to make a custom garment. We're making everything from scratch for you. So I think the 2 biggest downsides of custom is, 1, you can't see it until it's made. And 2, it's not instant gratification. So we get killed by this Amazon world where they expect things to show up tomorrow. That's not this play. And when it's done, I'll come back and we do a fitting. Almost always on a first-time client, we'll do some round of alterations. And that's just making sure we have your preferences. The hardest part about working in the custom clothing space is it's highly subjective. So what's perfect to you, what's perfect to me are different. And the only one that opinion that matters is yours. So when we deliver the custom garment, that allows the client to say, hey, I actually prefer this tighter, or I prefer this looser, or I want my sleeves to show more cuff or less cuff. And we'll take care of all those little adjustments, but then we will apply that to your pattern moving forward. So on the next order, you can expect it smoother, faster, and we don't have to go through the alterations every time, which is the point that I think our relationship is at.
Correct.
And fortunately, you stay the same size. But what's also been killing me, I tell guys Ozempic and Amazon are my 2 killers. And guys are calling me up saying, hey, I lost 60, 70, 80 pounds. And I have to say, brother, that's a new suit. I can't fix that. Right. But then over time, I'm there to help with weight fluctuations, and also to say like, hey man, you've also had this suit for 5 years. Let's talk about something fresh. And right. Most men, if they didn't have that encouragement, they wouldn't be thinking right. about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I'm happy. I like what I have. I always say dress to impress for yourself.
That's right.
That's the key. Thank you, Blake, for being on the show, for all the pertinent information. I hope viewers found that, very intriguing, and will try to dress to impress for themselves.
Awesome.
What is the best way the viewers can get in touch with you?
I say we use LinkedIn. LinkedIn is great. It's got my cell phone. It's got my email on it. Again, Blake Albino, Albino. That's got all my information. Send me a message, email, text, and we'll find a time to get together and go through the consultation.
Great. Thank you, Blake.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, share any questions or comments in the comments below, and follow us on social media. I look forward to seeing you next time.
Let's get together. Let's get to having some fun. Let's do whatever. The night's looking so young. Let's get together. Let's get to having some fun. Let's get together. Let's get together. Let's get together. Let's get together.